what's going on, all my gamers, all my Wuthering Waves gamers? So now with the new announcement of 2.2, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I'm not gonna lie. This seems like it's going in a better direction because man, their filler patches are not great, and 2.1 was probably the worst. But let's not talk about all that, chat. We're not talking about anything negative today, which is kind of rare for me with Wuthering Waves. But I want to talk about some of the updates, and more particularly the one where it's coming to Steam, chat. Now this is kind of interesting because we don't really get a lot of gacha games coming to Steam. There's actually a few, as you can see up here in my tabs. I pulled up a few, but I am pretty interested in this myself because there is Steam DB charts and stuff like that where we can actually get, an actual look into how many players actually play these games and stuff like that. Now, there are actually not that many Steam games or games on Steam that I looked it up. I tried to look up Infinite Nikki, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero. There are a few actually. There's not Punishing Gray Raven, but they have Girls, Frontline 2, Limbus Company. I didn't know Limbus Company was only on Steam. I had to ask one of my viewers who plays this game. So yeah, I didn't know that. But there is going to be an interesting thing with this because we'll have a little bit more knowledge into how this game might perform on PC. Now, obviously, we won't get that much because when you look at where this game is, it kind of it's going to be pretty scattered all over the place, right? Kind of like when I talk, I'm scattered all over the place. But like, let me look at this. So I don't actually know about Tribe 9. I don't know. I would like to play it myself. I would like to try it. I think the only person I know who's like actively playing it is like Ithoma. But like, so you can see right here, it's not that terrible rating, right? But I don't really think Steam itself really likes gacha games. So it's going to be interesting to see Wuthering Waves, which is, as much as I like to criticize it, it is a pretty generous game. It's very free to play friendly. The only thing that I feel like, in my opinion, that will really knock people out of wanting to play this game will be the ecosystem. Because, man, it's gotten me a few times. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'm like, man, you know what, dude? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play. I'll have all my traces leveled up. I'll have my characters leveled up. I won't get a good weapon on them. 4-star weapons in this game are awful. But, my echoes are just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So we can look over here. We're talking like, now these aren't huge numbers, right? But to have 1,000 players on right now concurrently, this seems to be the more concurrent players on Tribe 9 is not bad. 1,600. We don't really know how much it's making, which is another thing I kind of want to, I hope will come out. I don't really know how much Steam is, showing when it comes to actual player purchases. But when it comes to numbers, we can kind of, estimate it. We're going to have to give it a weird estimation. Now, when it comes to Wuthering Waves, I'm interested in seeing how many players will actually play on day one. And I feel like, and if I'm being completely honest, I think it might be one of the best performing gacha games on there, but I also don't, because of how spread out these games are, right? You have your own Wuthering Waves launcher, you have your console games, of course, and then it was going to be coming to Steam, but it is also on Epic Games, and kind of like all these other ones are, which is kind of wild. The Genshin Impact is like the highest one here. Even though it is down here, it is still part of the big four. We have, and this is from today. I just looked at this, right? I just pulled up this chart, or not this chart, but this most played games on Epic, and I do think this is pretty correct. Epic is actually it's more gacha friendly. So you have Genshin, you have Zenless, and Zenless is actually beating out Honkai Star Rail right now, and then you have wuwa right here, which is pretty good. I didn't even know that many people still play Fall Guys. But, you have Infinite Nikki that is still on here. I don't really know any of the other ones. I'm trying to look. No, I know that Honkai Impact is on here, but it's not on the top games, and I don't expect it to because I'm gonna be completely honest. Honkai Impact Third on Epic actually runs terribly, but you have other games like Girls Frontline 2. It had a peak of 2,400, which was 3 days ago. That's not bad, dude. That's not terrible, especially because it has its own launcher and stuff like that. It has a pretty good rating score. And one thing that I think is interesting is just how well Limbus Company does on here. Limbus Company has 31,000 players on right now. 32,000. I'm sorry. I think like 1,000 players just got on. It has 32,000 players, which this might have a more how do I say this? A lot more concurrent information of players, because I asked a viewer of mine who has played this game. I think they said that the Steam version is the only one on PC. Now, do I think that Wuthering Waves is going to have Limbus Company numbers? I don't think so, but at the same time, I think its peak will be about like 30,000. I would give it, because all your friends have Steam, and anyone who plays Wuthering Waves, they like to recommend it to all their friends. I think it's a pretty okay game to get people into Gacha. I still think Genshin is better, not because the game is better, but because it's just a lot more introduction friendly, right? You kind of have the combat and the way the Gacha system works. Genshin is a little bit more simplified, even though people might not believe so. I still think it is a little bit more beginner friendly. That you have them try out Genshin for like a month or two, get them into Wuthering Waves, and then now we have someone who's probably going to be spending a lot more on Gacha games. Probably don't do that, but it's actually interesting too, because I just seen this on a Honkai Impact Third. Honkai Impact Third only has 100 players on it right now, with a peak of 2,200, which was 3 years ago. But I think Honkai Impact Third, of course, is when was this even added? Does it say? This was a recent update release date. This was released in 2021 on here, and I think it's older than that. So it's actually kind of interesting that Honkai Impact Third didn't really pop off when it comes to player base on Steam. But I don't really blame it, because Honkai Impact Third around this time, it's already been out for so long, and Genshin was in full swing, so they probably wouldn't have come to this game. And I don't know how much Steam actually throttles this game. Now, if it's like Epic, it's actually awful and unplayable. So people might just play Honkai Impact Third in its own launcher. You might as well. Like, that's the only thing with these games. Like, Tribe 9, I don't know if it has its own I don't think it has its own launcher. It might. I don't know. I know Girls Frontline 2 does. I have it on my PC. I have the launcher itself. Whenever I can, I decide. And this is the one thing that I do want to say, is that people, when they can, they usually get the launcher itself, because getting the direct launcher just makes it run better. Why? I don't know. It's just how that works. But with Wuthering Waves, I do think it will be interesting to see this go to Steam, because if the port is not that good, you're really going to feel it, because this game really had some launch day, launch day optimization issues. So when this releases on Steam, it probably won't be that different, hopefully, fingers crossed. But if it does, I'm not going to be surprised. It's a kind of a Wuthering Waves thing. But, Kuro Games, they'll probably fix it pretty fast. So this will be released on April 28th, chat. And the thing about this is I don't know if this is going to be when 2.3 releases. It would have been nice if it released immediately with 2.2, because 2.2 looks like a huge update that is mostly story driven, right? Not a lot of events going on there. It's actually very, very low in events, which was very surprising, but it's insanely high when it comes to story quests. You have a story quest, you have a main quest, exploration quest, which I kind of don't want to do after the last time. I'm pretty traumatized from 2.1. A character quest, and I don't know what else. Like, you have area, there probably is quests in there, so it's really quest heavy. I'm excited to see that. Thank God. And they're making this a shorter patch, which is good because these patches last like 2 presidential terms. They probably don't need to be that long. At this point, please, for the love of God, end 2.1. This is just, please get me out of this hell. Let me off of Mr. Miyazaki's wild ride. Anyways, chat, let me know how you guys feel about this coming to Steam. Are you going to recommend this to your friends on Steam? That is my question. That's what I really want to know. Are you going to get your friends into this game on Steam? You know, are you going to let them get lost in the sauce of gacha games? Chat, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one. Bye. See